Yes, sir, Ski.
Welcome back, everybody, to another special edition of the She and I podcast. As you can see, I'm not joined by my very, very special host, India Marie. However, I do have one of my good brothers here with me, and I'm joined by my man, Jamel. Jamel, what up, dog?
What's up, y'all? Man, I'm here. I'm glad. I'm grateful to be in this space, the He and I podcast. You know, it's a takeover. Jamel Campbell-Gooch running for District 21 City Council. You know, we in the building.
And this we got to talk. Listen, you see the buttons. If you're on YouTube right now, go over there. You see the buttons. This is our political, aka just a couple of guys sitting back, kicking it, talking straight facts. Really about to give y'all some good game.
Yes,
talking
sir.
about politics.
Yes, sir.
But mainly shining light on my man for running for District 21
yes,
councilman.
Yes,
How does
sir.
it feel, bro?
I mean, it feels great, man.
How does it feel?
It's been a good time, like talking to everyday folks in North Nashville. So District 21 is a whole lot of North and a little bit of West Nashville. So we've been talking to folks, man. Just been having a great time. It's a family affair. So this campaign has been great.
This is why I love to hear a family affair because,
Family
like
affair.
I told him, so we were talking a little bit off the mic before we cracked it open and got started, and I straight up told him, I don't even know what district I'm in. The only district I know is the Hunger Games.
No,
if
for
you
sure.
know, you know. So we talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
And figured out what district I was in. He helped me out. So listen, District 21.
Yeah.
Primarily what? African American?
So it's around about 70% African American. But before we get there, let's slow walk it a little bit.
Please
do.
do.
First of all, our system of governance is called a mayor dominant system. So that means that anything that the mayor says does, the mayor has the power to veto a bill, put a bill in the law, and also sets the budget. City council, though, we have a 40-person city council.
Okay.
That's the third largest in the country behind Chicago and New York. Now, we can talk about historically why that is, but we're going to hold
I was
going to
ask that question too.
So we
I need to know.
We have 35 districts, 5 at large. When I say at large city council people, those are the council folks that essentially look over the whole city.
Okay.
But there's 35 different districts. That means Davidson County is split up into 35 different districts.
I didn't think Davidson County was that big.
Exactly. And we can get in that. That's a historical point.
Yeah.
But District 21 encompasses Tennessee State University, Meharry, half of Jefferson Street, all of Buchanan for my folks who not from here, but if you knew Buchanan. a lot of Clarksville Highway before you get to Bordeaux, and DB Todd.
Yep.
And it goes all the way up to West End, and if you also from here, it's right around Aladdin Hookah Bar.
You know what Aladdin is? I seen a bunch of y'all in there smoking.
You know y'all doing the hookah now.
Come on now, giving it up, mixing it.
No, for sure.
Rock at the bottom.
For sure.
Ice in it so your throat won't get hot. I know what y'all were doing. My fault, bro. Go ahead.
No, you good. So as you can see, like it's a very historic district, right? So it's about 68% black. Although our district is known for a couple different things. Like in the 80s, there was a report. I mean, in the early 2000s, there was a report done that if you were born in the 80s, our district had the highest incarcerated zip code in the country. Right. And that's not because the people were doing a lot of bad things, because the people there could not pay fines.
Okay.
And so that ended up being the highest incarceration rate. But if we go back even further, we also know we home of the student sit-ins.
Yep.
We home of the student nonviolent coordinating committee.
Yes, sir.
We home of Tennessee A&I. We home of so much history that the city is known for. So that really called me to run for District 21.
Man, give it up for you, because let me tell you something. If y'all are new to the She and I podcast, in 2020,
yes, sir,
during the midst of COVID-19, in the thick of social injustice. We still in there right now, but you get what I'm saying.
George Floyd, Breonna Taylor.
Floyd, so I had the pleasure, me and my wife, India, we had the pleasure of sitting down with Jamel then. And at that time, I never seen it before. My boy was on social media, not showing his face. He had like a book.
The Bryson Tiller.
Yeah. He was the Bryson Tiller of politics. We weren't even in politics back then. You were just a social justice warrior.
Yeah, no, for sure.
One can say. So, man, you are, as we always say, you are true to this. You are not new to this, man. You've been doing it, volunteering your time. Even back then, we talked about Gideon's Army a little bit. So it goes way back.
Goes way back. And right about that time, I had just left the classroom. So right before before the first time we talked, I worked at a local high school, Pearl Cone.
For real?
Yeah, and I was
never knew.
I was considered a support staff, and the kids that I would work with were considered high flyers. They were one suspension away from being expelled or coming off an expulsion.
Okay.
The kids would call it paper. They'd be like, I'm on papers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
If they violate my
Give 'em
papers,
a
I'm being
PO.
expelled. Right. But we used to talk about, like, even with the young people, is like that's getting them ready for the school to prison pipeline. You're getting used to talk about yourself in a way where you might encounter the same thing as an adult. But then one year I lost like 4 students to gun violence. Damn. And so I stepped out of the classroom and literally went into the organizing world. And then last time we spoke, man, we was in the thick of it. I was in the thick of it with folks like Erica Perry.
He was out there.
Mike Floss.
He
we was talking
there.
about reallocating money to what keeps our community safe. And
Yes, sir.
that called me to run. I mean, just as far as the budget, like this year, between last year and this year, Nashville gained over 15% in their budget. That means our budget grew by 15%.
Okay.
We also had a $64 million surplus. But let me put that in regular language. What
sure.
that
You know
means
me.
for the everyday person is that we have enough money to make sure our roads are good,
Okay.
to make sure our sidewalks are good,
Okay.
to make sure we have good community center hours, to
Yep.
make sure we have well-resourced after-school programs. What's happening is that money gets caught making sure that corporations like Oracle, Amazon, Meta
They right here.
can
Yeah.
move here and not have to pay high taxes. So that's why we're going into city council. That's why we want to take this movement in the city council so that our streets, our communities, our neighborhoods, our classrooms
Yep.
can start reflecting the growth that's happening in Davidson County.
Now, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? I hate to play devil's advocate because when I hear that all these big companies are coming into town, I'm like,
on.
man, it's great for us because some of these people in North Nashville, some of these people in West, some of these people in the district that I'm in, I forgot already, can now get these jobs and get these benefits. So you think it's good or bad?
And that's what we hear all the time.
Okay.
Right? But what happens is if we take Oracle for a sense,
Yep.
we made all these concessions for Oracle to move here.
We did.
But one thing they didn't say is they were bringing 1,500 people with them. So a lot of the times our folks aren't either prepared for the jobs or they're already coming with a staff.
They already staff.
And they're not really talking about that happening. I mean, we're also seeing, we also lose out on contracts.
Yep.
Like they're talking about building a whole separate part of downtown called the East Bank.
Yes, sir.
But we do very bad on giving out minority contracts. We're not even talking about black contracts. We're talking about non-white folks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
minority contracts is under like 5%.
Really?
And when it comes to black folks, and we are usually, when it comes to the minority, we gonna be at the bottom of that even less.
Yeah, for
so
sure,
it's important that as we move this movement, one thing we make sure we let folks know is like the issue is that we don't have a fighter
Got you.
in city council, and that's why we are really hoping to put this movement and take over the city council seat of District 21.
Man, I love it here, man. See somebody like you too, and this is what I always go back to, right? When I talk to you and when we see somebody like you at the ground level explaining these things to me,
For sure.
or anybody else in layman terms, it makes a lot of sense. Like,
Yeah.
if I see you, and back when I was young, or I just got of the age to vote, and, you know, I'm like, man, I ain't voting for no city council. Y'all can't do nothing for me. But if I see somebody like you and I see you at the ground level talking to me, explaining things to me, I'll be more prone to go out there and vote.
For sure.
So that's why I wanted to get you on too, because man, this is a great, I didn't know. This is great knowledge. I don't think a lot of people would know that the contracts are not given to minorities.
Yeah.
That the jobs, they are coming with the companies. Because when I told you, when I heard Oracle, I'm like, man, let me get on LinkedIn
No, for sure.
and go apply real
No,
fast.
for sure.
And I think that's what the average person looking in would think. Like, I can just go get a job at Oracle because they're coming to Nashville.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Not knowing the other things that go into it. Now, even with that said, city council just in general, Oracle's here now, or wherever's here now. What do you guys do in the city council? Like, what exactly does a city councilman go out there and do?
That's a good question. Thank you. So city council does a couple things that's important to remember. One,
City council person too.
they work on the local budget.
Yep.
So although the mayor might set the budget, city council has the opportunity to amend the budget.
Okay.
And that's important because when we talk about our children, we know that our children depend on like after school programs, community centers.
It's a fact.
And one thing we even noticed while we were doing this organizing work, and when I say we, I'm talking about the Black Nashville Assembly,
Yes, sir.
And other Southern Movement Committee and other organizations I've been a part of. Every time there's a budget cut, the first thing to go is our community center hours. First
Every
thing to go.
time.
Every single time.
I was the NYSP, man, in Mississippi.
See?
They got rid of NYSP.
See
Can't
what I'm
even
saying?
go to. I was lit.
And I was working over at Easley Community Center out south. And they would literally around budget season, they would sit us down and be like, look, Budget season is coming. You know,
Yes,
if there's
sir.
a cut, your hours going to be gone.
And so
Your
it's
hours are
starting
gonna-
with the community center.
every single time. And we know that our children depend on the community center. When
Yep.
I was working there, we'll have free internet. Kids
Yes,
will
sir.
eat there. They'll have cooking programs.
Breakfast through just about the afternoon.
All kind of stuff. So we know our community centers are the anchor stones of our
Right.
community. So that type of thing, or if you go outside and when you're on Osage, we just pick a street in District 21. When you're on Osage, we have a lot of new developments on Osage.
Yep.
Well, City Council changed the rule with the zoning where you don't have to build. If you do a new build, you only have to build a 4-foot sidewalk. So if you walk down
keys, yeah.
Osage,
Yep.
you got 4 feet of sidewalk, and then you will have 10 feet of nothing, and then another 4 feet of sidewalk. So that's a policy. So a lot of times, what I try to tell everyday folks is when you walk outside and you see your environment, most of that is defined directly to a budget allocation, which is directly defined, which is directly attached to your city council person.
Okay.
And then 2, I mean, we can talk about this. Yeah, we know that folks love an elected official.
Love them.
So a city council person can also lead on other issues. What we're bringing to the city council seat is the organization that it takes.
Okay.
So let's say if it's something that the city council person cannot do, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we come back to the community, have conversations with everyday folks, do
Yes,
that
sir.
front porch organizing,
Yes, sir.
and go put pressure on the folks we need to put pressure on when it comes to taking care of what we need in District 21.
Man, I love that, man. I love it. And then something else I like about you, man, and I see it on Instagram. Now, back in the day, couldn't see my boy's face. Didn't even know who he was.
We
the
grew
black
up a little
box,
bit.
he grew up. Now when I see him out, man, you are in the community. Like I saw you outside. I see you taking pictures with people, see you talking to people. And even before you started to run, you guys already had established the Nashville Black Assembly.
Yep.
Like I get a text message. Probably got one today. Like I'm signed up. You know what I mean? So you're not out there telling people how they can sign up for the Nashville Black Assembly.
So you can go to blacknashvilleassembly.org.
Black Nashville Assembly, my bad.
Sign up, contact, and we'll make sure we keep in contact with you.
And they gonna contact you. I'm telling you, I
for
get
sure.
the text messages every day. I look at my phone. Back in the day, you could have put Black Assembly Nashville in your phone and your never mind. That's a whole other story for another day.
Don't do that. Don't do
That's
that.
another story for another day.
But it is an open line. So if we text you, you text us back. We're going to hit you right back.
Y'all will. Y'all
Yeah.
will. So now, going back, when is election day?
So election day is on August 3rd. It's all day August 3rd. So
August
you want
3rd.
to make sure you get in there on August 3rd because you can also, it's not only city council,
Yeah.
it's also district at large city council, but it's also vice mayor and the mayor's office all on the same ticket.
Okay, let me ask you this thing. I don't know if you can discuss this openly or not, but who should the people be looking to vote for or lend their vote to?
When it comes to the mayor's office.
Everybody.
Okay, so-
like, you can run down a ticket if you want to.
So I'm not gonna openly endorse anybody,
Right,
but I will
right,
give
right.
you just like a guideway on who you can choose.
Okay.
When it comes to the mayor, what you need to remember, what you need to think about is that we are in a mayor dominant system.
Okay.
So you are literally voting for the person who can set any rule that they want to set, unless the state comes in and says they ain't supposed to do it. But they can literally do whatever they want. So when it comes to the mayor, that is like our coach for the next 4 years. We locked into the next 4 years.
All
So
right.
whatever you want to see done, it's important to do your research on what that person has already done.
Go to the website, take a look at their foundational principles and
Yeah.
see what they're standing on.
And I give you a guide even on which moments you can kind of look at. There's a couple of different moments that happened over the past year where it really showed where people's political allegiance were. We
Okay.
had the Titan Stadium deal.
Yes, sir.
That most people did not want and went down in a way that was just really confusing to a lot of folks.
We're getting the Titan. Ain't they getting the new stadium?
We're getting the
though?
Titan Stadium, but we hit a couple different markers. So first of
Okay.
all, it's the smallest dome stadium in the NFL.
Why we gotta have a baby stadium?
No, for sure. It's 7,000 less seats than what they got right now.
Oh man.
So it's the smallest dome stadium in
Okay.
the country. 2, we spent the most public dollars on an NFL stadium in NFL history. So we spent $500 million from the state level.
To have less seats.
Exactly. And we spent $760 million of our dollars.
Taxpayers.
Public dollars, yes, locally. For them to
Wow.
move, for a billionaire to move a privately owned team
into a new stadium.
Into a new stadium. Okay. So that really showed who was where. And some of the people running for mayor were even on council at the time.
Okay.
And some of the people running at large. Now, an important thing to remember about the vice mayor, I'm just going to go through them in order.
Yeah.
The important thing to remember about the vice mayor is the vice mayor assigns people to committees.
Okay.
So if you're on city council, you get assigned to a committee. Let's say you get assigned to the traffic committee.
Yeah.
That means that everything that has to do with traffic before it comes in front of the council goes to the committee.
And then committee votes on it and everything.
And then it comes to the council.
Okay.
So that's why the vice mayor is important, because you have a conservative vice mayor.
You're going to have a conservative leaning committee.
And if you have a conservative leaning committee, then the decisions that are coming out of city council will also lean conservative, because they won't see the progressive things. They won't make them pass committee.
No.
So that's important to think about. We have two people running for vice mayor, so it's important to think about with the vice mayor. Now, you have at-large city council members, which go over the whole city, and then you have district city council members. There's like over 15 people running for at-large.
Okay.
You can vote up to 5 no matter where you live at. Okay.
And then the 5 reign over the entire city.
Over the whole city. That's why we call them at-large.
Okay.
So anybody can vote on that 5. You get to choose 5.
I got you.
All right. It's also important thing to remember. It's a Titan Stadium deal. The other thing that you can remember is the license plate reader vote too.
Man,
you can just Google
the blue
these
license
things.
plate. Let me tell y'all something right now. If you in Nashville, Tennessee, you in Tennessee, and you still got a green license plate, shame on it. Coming to get you. You shouldn't have a green license plate right now.
Hey, playing no game about that green license.
I had to say that out loud because that was on my. I see y'all with a green license plate. I do want to give y'all a ticket. Go ahead.
So a license plate reader, for folks who don't know, is a little camera, and what it does is it takes photos of license plates, and then it uses what they call hot lists to track that vehicle. So I'll just give you an example. Let's say there was an incident on Jefferson Street with a blue Honda with a dent in the left bumper.
Okay.
Every blue Honda with a dent in the left bumper will be taken a photo of, and they will track it across the city.
Okay.
And the idea is that it'll automate that sort of surveillance policing. Now, there's a couple different things wrong with it. First of all, it's historically bad when it comes to black and brown folks.
Oh, for sure.
Can't see them for some reason.
Yeah.
And then 2, it also puts us in closer proximity to police officers. As black folks, the more we encounter law enforcement, the more likely we are to be harmed by law enforcement.
Watch out.
So it puts us too close to them. But if you Google those 2 things, the Titan Stadium vote in Nashville, and the license plate reader vote in Nashville, you should start seeing a pattern on who's where.
Okay.
And so, like I said, you can pick 5 at large. Now, the district is defined by where you are living. So if you're living in District 21, I'll be on your ballot.
Come on, say it again.
If you're living in District 21, I'll be on your ballot. I'll be the first name on your ballot.
The first one.
Jamel Campbell-Gooch. Make sure you vote that.
The first.
But if you're in Germantown, you would be in District 19.
Okay.
So you can only vote for the 2 people running in District 19.
So how many people can vote per district? I mean, how many people can run? Per district.
I don't think there's a limit, but it is important. I'm glad you asked that. So if you have only 2 people running, in any race in Nashville, you only have 2 people running for mayor. Maybe you only have 2 people running for district. Whoever wins the popular vote most likely will win. Okay. But if you have, like we have now, if you have 9 or 10 people running like we do for mayor, then if nobody gets over 51% of the vote, which doesn't really happen when it's a lot of folks,
right?
You take the top 2 people and then they go into a runoff. And then whoever wins the runoff will win. So we know that probably when it comes to mayor, we probably will have a runoff for the top 2 people.
This is 9 people,
Yeah, for sure.
Simple mathematics at that point, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But that's all of that in like a short,
condensed
version. I hope I walked that.
Button, man. That was perfect. Okay. That was perfect because I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I mean, if I didn't know, I'm not saying I'm the smartest person in the world, but I feel like that we all should be knowledgeable when it comes to these type of things. So
for sure.
Early voting. When does it end?
So it ends on the 29th.
29th. This is gonna come out on Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday. Okay. Look out for it.
It ends on the 29th, and then election day is on August 3rd.
So you still got time to early vote.
No, for sure.
And you can go early vote. You can go early vote anywhere, right?
So if you're living in if you're near downtown, the closest place is going to be Howard Office School Building.
Okay.
But if you're in North Nashville, the closest place is the Botto Library or Bordeaux library. Depending on
when you came to Nashville, you were a transplant. But you've been living here all your life, though, right?
I have. I'm from District 21. I've been here my whole life.
So listen, why would you go out and vote for somebody else who hasn't been in District 21 their whole life? I don't know who the opponent is, and I don't know if he or she has been in District 21 their entire time. But why not vote for somebody who's been there, who's seen it grow from the beginning? Your whole life. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. So my family, just a little bit of my family history.
Please tell me.
So my family has been in the Middle Tennessee area since 1794. So for all my history nerds, that's 2 years before Tennessee becomes a state. So we get here when it's a Carolina territory, right? So if you want to look at structural racism, you can just look at the plight of my entire family. Also, we got here with the folks that we got streets named after. We got here with the Donaldsons, the Hatleys, the Overtons. And also my earliest ancestor was owned by the 7th president of the United States, Andrew Jackson. Okay. So I'm a direct
president child.
Right. I'm a direct descendant of the folks that were enslaved on the Hermitage plantation. And so because of that, and a lot of District 21 is I consider family. So because of that, like we are really running on heritage too. Okay. Because we want to make sure like District 21 with such rich history, it's important that those folks are taken care of, because when they are taken care of and when those folks are organized, they are able to change the world. When we look at photos of Martin Luther King, like a lot of people focus on King, but the people around him, whether it's C.T. Vivian, John Lewis, Diane Nash, Bernard Lafayette, those people are attached to Nashville in some sort of way.
They are.
So we know that the folks in Nashville, the students in Nashville are like a sleeping giant ready to be wakened.
Yes, sir.
They can take on any titan in the city.
Yes, sir. That's love, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, we need this energy from younger people, well, people our age. And we still young. What you mean? But we need this type of energy, right? We need this type of energy, man, because, like I said, seeing you will energize other people to not only get involved, but also get behind you and support you. Like, so my next question would be, how can people go out there and support? Like, what can they do? Or is it too late?
No.
What should they be doing right now?
It ain't never too late. So you can go to JamelCampbell-Gooch.com, sign up to be contacted, and I hit you up and just sign up for our email list and we'll text you. Also, if you want to volunteer, it's 2 things that we're racist: knocking on doors and making phone calls. So if you like to volunteer with the campaign, you can hit us up online, or you can go to Jamel for Council on any social media. Just shoot me a DM and we'll get you trained up and right. Now, there's also a couple different organizations that I'm also a part of.
Talk to them.
Like we talked about the Black Nashville Assembly. You can always sign up to get our texts, but also come to our events. The Southern Movement Committee, right now, we are training a group of young people to actually be organizers. Yeah. Because this is a thing.
And so it doesn't stop here.
No. And so we have a paid internship. So if you know any young people between the ages of 14 and 18, it's like, I feel called to this social justice work. Yeah. You can go to the Southern Movement Committee right now and sign them up, because we'd love to have young people. We're gonna definitely continuously create a youth assembly. And then thirdly, and I'm not involved in this, but my organizing partner, like Erica Perry, and then
shout out to Erica one time,
and then Mike Floss, who I also do organizing
Big Mike,
with,
what up, though?
Who's our arts and culture director. They also have an organization called Black Nashville Votes. So if you want to check out more folks on who they rocking with, you can go to just blacknashvillevotes.com, and I think they released a slate of people that's like they think they did a questionnaire, so they released a slate of people that are like did well on the questionnaire.
Oh man, it's love, man. It's super cool. That's super cool. So next question.
Yeah, come on with it.
What's the main thing you standing on though? Like, what is the main issue? Yeah. Jamel, like, hey man, we got to get this done. As soon as I get in there, this is what we voting on. Yeah. Is it budgets? Yeah. Is it, you tell me, you know what I'm saying?
Main thing is affordability, man. Like,
I love it.
Affordability.
We just talked about this on the last episode
main
of the
thing
podcast.
Is affordability.
I'm about to move to District 21 so I can give me a $200,000 house. I need that.
Main thing affordability. So every year, and most people in District 21 see this. You probably see this all the time.
Yes.
So every year we lose people in District 21. Whether it's due to gentrification, it's just they just being pushed out of community in all sorts of ways. And they're not going to other districts in Davidson County. They going Smyrna, Laverne, Mount Juliet. They're going way out there. Clarksville.
You have to.
They're going way out there. We've lost over 200 people a year for the last 4 years.
Wow.
And so when you're talking about a historic community like District 21, you're actually talking about the soul of Nashville being displaced.
For sure.
And so if we can work on making sure people have the ability to stay in District 21, I think that's going to be great. And I think that's just common sense things. And also innovative things. Like we should be piloting what it looks like to have a guaranteed basic income in District 21.
Yes, sir.
We should be piloting what it looks like for actually like community driven forms of public safety that are alternatives to police. We should be doing those things, participatory budgeting, participatory democracy, having assemblies, mass meetings. We should just be making it where everyday folks can participate in the governance of District 21 so they can feel invested in what's going on. And that all will come to head and actually make the district more affordable for everyday folks, right? For sure. I was having a conversation with a homie because we go door to door, and he was like, one day I woke up, and this is an older gentleman now. He older. It was like one day I woke up.
I know it. Go ahead.
And it was just bike lanes all over my street. And he was like,
and juice bars.
He was like, I don't mean no harm, but I hit them little things all the time. He's like, I can't really see him. The street real small now. But when that type of thing happens and the people don't know about it or have an opportunity to participate in it, they don't feel like it's their home no more. They feel like they're alien in their own land. And so like we talking about being early and often when it comes to things like that and organizing the community so they know what's going on.
Man, so how did we get so like far behind when it came to even the gentrification in District 21? Because I'm talking about back when I first got here in 2000, and don't worry about it, 2005. 2005. You know what I'm saying? So when I first got here, it was like, man, Nashville, like, and I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah.
District 21, it was like, it wasn't looked at as a place that I would want to go.
No, for sure.
No, not me, but you know, if I'm new moving in Nashville from California somewhere, I wasn't looking at District 21.
Nah.
But now, if you come from California,
now you going straight into 21.
I'm trying to go to 21.
Nah, for sure.
So what happened, and was it just a certain developer that came in and started issuing money, and what happened?
So first, let me say this. Let me say this right here. So, and the folks watching this, listeners probably know this by this point. So when we started to run this people-centered campaign, one thing I did not know is how much the current developers and the people that are coming to exploit our community will actually see this campaign as a threat on their own power. So that should just show like the dynamics that are happening in District 21,
right?
And how much it matters that we have a people-centered campaign
people-centered campaign
happening where we want to build a district where we put people over profit.
Yes, sir. Talk about it.
Yeah, no, that's important. But I will say this also. There needs to be a balance, and this is why it matters who the elected official is. There needs to be a balance. We should be able to have investment in our community without pushing people out.
And that was my next question too. Like,
we should be able to have that.
Yeah, so how is it? Can you have both? Can they coexist?
I think so. But historically, what happened was, I mean, before the flood, North Nashville was already becoming gentrified.
Okay.
But then after the flood, it rapidly gentrified really quickly. One thing that changed that I remember specifically is they changed the zoning or the housing regulations where you can essentially build a flat top house. So that's why all of a sudden you start seeing them
tall and skinnies
kind of pop up everywhere because there was a policy change.
Okay.
And that's why it's important to remember that if you go outside and you see something change, that was a policy thing. I remember like a year ago, they were trying to build, and this is like right outside of my district. This is the Kroger's on Monroe.
Yes, sir.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
You know the Kroger.
So there used to be an O'Reilly's right there on the corner, right across from where Germantown Pub is now. But it used to be an AutoZone, and then there used to be an O'Reilly's across the street. The O'Reilly's was decimated by a tornado. It was torn. It was just
when
that was like right before COVID really took off in Nashville. I think it was like 2020. It was decimated. I mean, it was tore all down.
It was done.
It was done. Well, the Black Nashville Assembly, we do a city council watch.
Yep.
So we saw a bill come across city council that was trying to put a 10-story apartment unit
where the O'Reilly's.
Yeah, and if you know what corner I'm talking about,
exactly, right across from the KFC.
That would have been a skyscraper.
Yeah, would have.
In the middle of a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so we were able to actually put a pause on it. But those are the type of things that happen when no one's looking in city council. Those type of developments start popping up all over the place, and that's why the city council seat is important. But we can balance. We can have a balance between investing in our community and getting the things that we need and having the uplift and having the spaces look better without pushing our folks away.
Right. And I think that we need that because the majority of the time when people come in, they gentrify the places. We don't have anywhere to go.
Right.
They give us the money and then we think the money is great at the time. And then you go to move and you're like, I can't afford this.
You can't go nowhere.
You're like, what's going on now?
No,
I can't afford to move District 21, District 19. Nope.
Yeah.
Where are you going to go?
Right.
I think that's a big issue that a lot of people just don't want to face and don't want to deal with because we know skyscrapers and even the Titan Stadium, like these things are great for certain people.
No, for sure.
Other people, these things are not so good.
It's tough.
And I think that we need to do a better job of like protecting those people who they're not so good for.
For sure.
And I think that's where like somebody like you, somebody who was on the ground talking to these everyday people who've been here for so long can help us out.
No, for sure. One thing important to remember about District 21, you might not know this, but I've been telling everybody that I can come in contact with about this. So you know where the agricultural land is at Tennessee State University. They call it the swamp.
Yeah. I know.
So they're talking about putting a Major League Baseball stadium on that land. Right now, that's private land. Yeah. It's not city owned. The university owns it. But it's important to remember that when it comes,
so they're gonna buy it from the university.
They're gonna buy it. They think about buying it from the university and building a Major League Baseball stadium. But it's time to start having those community conversations now with District 21.
Okay.
On what are our terms and conditions before they get here?
Right.
Because by the time it gets to the sports authority, by the time it gets to
it's too late.
Sports committee. By the time we get to city council, the deal already been done.
It's too late.
Not a lot we can do to it. But the Major League Baseball stadium thing, if we can't stop it from coming, or if people want it to come, we can actually come together as a community and start organizing what we want from it.
Right. Oh man, it's great. That's great. I didn't even know they were trying to get a Major League Baseball stadium.
That's what I'm saying. And by the time we learn it, it's probably gonna be a little too late.
So my next question, well, how do we know about this stuff then? Like, who's gonna tell them if it's not you? Then who?
and that's why your city council person is important because they're getting the information early. Unless you have organizations like the Black Nashville Assembly who is having community dinners looking at city council, then it's gonna be hard for everyday folks to keep up with it. That's why it's important people know they city council person because they city council person should know about the information before it becomes popular news.
Now, let me tell you something that we hear all the time on the news, something that we hear all the time when we're talking to people like, hey, if you see something going on, contact us at this number. Like, contact us here, email us here. Do you all... Because I'm saying, I know you're going to get in. I know you're going to win.
I appreciate that.
Do you all check those things? Like, do you all check the messages? Because a lot of people like, call your city councilman, call the number. This is what you need to do. Stay on top of them. Let's say, I don't know, like when things are going on, like say the George Floyd, you need to call up. You need to call up and bug these people.
Yeah.
Does that really work?
Yeah, well, I've seen it where in my community organizing days, it does work.
Okay.
Now, sometimes, I mean, we've had interactions at the Black Nashville Assembly with elected officials that were just dismissive. So sometimes they just don't want to hear it, right? Yeah. And that could be for a whole bevy of reasons, but sometimes they're just in the pockets of the people that you're trying to get them not to work with.
So they don't want to hear nothing.
So they ain't trying to hear nothing they say.
They ain't trying to hear.
But I will say this, and we held... In like 2020, we held up city council for like 14 hours.
Nice.
With public comment. And people were literally just saying like, we want you to invest in our public goods. We want you to invest in our communities. We want you to give teacher raises. And ever since then, teachers have steadily gotten raises every year.
That's amazing.
So the one thing that is highly effective is collective action. Okay. That's why if anybody that I talk to, I'm like, yo, join an organization that does something political.
If everybody does a little, nobody has to do a lot.
Exactly.
Tap in.
Exactly. Because one person calling ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
But 10 of y'all calling, also 10 of y'all pulling up to the city council meeting, talking to the city council person.
For sure.
That does hold weight. That does hold weight. And one thing I think that's different about what we're trying to bring to the seat is the organizing, right? So we're trying to be so intimately connected to the community that people are seeing their elected official. A lot of the times what we've been hearing is we don't see our elected official, our current one.
They don't
see him. They only see him when they trying to run. And that's not good, right?
Yeah.
It feels like a violation. So one thing we're trying to bring is early and often. We try and be in the community early, talking to the constituents often, so much so that we're organizing them to make sure that when things like Amazon come here, that it ain't just the one elected official going to handle that.
Thank you.
It's all of us going in there together with the elected official.
Yeah.
Arm in arm to get things done.
You know what? I even had a thought. I even had an idea. Somebody's about to steal this. I really don't want to say it out loud, but I'm about to say it out loud.
Let it go.
When things like this happen, or if I lived in District 21, I would like a District 21 update, a weekly update.
For
almost like, hey, this is what happened this week in the city council. Man, maybe some 5-10 minutes on YouTube, a little quick video, a little informational thing. Hey,
that's
this
good.
is what happened in the council meeting. This is what we voted on. This is what we talked about.
That's good.
These are your minutes. If you got a problem, if you got any issues around it, this is the number to call. This is the number to contact. I'm Jamel Gooch. I'm Jamel Campbell-Gooch. This is what you can get in contact with me.
Yeah.
And I like that because then not necessarily having, because you can't go out and touch everybody, right?
Sure.
Like this is kind of impossible. You're one person. However, if you put that up on YouTube, on your social media, wherever your people are going to be be able to see that at the end of the day, I feel like they'll feel more connected.
For sure.
Because even when I looked it up, before we start talking, I looked it up. I told y'all this, my council person. Couldn't find it. Went to YouTube. Looked up cuz we talked about earlier. Couldn't find nothing about him on YouTube. But I feel like there's an opportunity to reach out to people who only look at those mediums. Who only look at YouTube. Who only look at Instagram.
Yeah.
Some people get their news. That's the only place they get it from. They don't get it from anywhere else. And man, I think it's a huge opportunity for you, just being 100% real. Because all this information you giving up today, man, I didn't know none of this. Nobody told me that. Nobody told me that. But if it was on your reel, on your story, I'm locked in. I'm tuned in.
No, I feel you. And I mean, what folks should be wondering, because I know a lot of folks ain't heard this. Or what folks should be wondering is why you haven't heard this. Yeah. Why isn't this common knowledge? Why haven't somebody set you down and told you, like, these are the things that are affecting your life? Yep. This is why it's becoming more unaffordable to live here, because of these things. Also, people that are coming to exploit our communities actually take advantage of the facts that we don't know this. Yeah. Right? And they weave disinformation in to the point where they'll have you supporting something that's actually causing damage to not only you, but your neighbor.
You don't even know about, you out here just walking blind because it feel right. Nobody told you. And I think that's something that we can do a better job in general. Everybody. I mean, and I'm not putting it all on the council people. For sure. We can do our own research ourselves. But it's good to hear from somebody who has a position already. And I think that's huge. I think that's big for everybody. So that's what I'm saying, man. But I 100% think this, lock in. Tap in with my boy. That's what we going to do. Now, it wouldn't be she and I if I didn't ask you questions like this.
Come on.
So let's get into it.
Come on.
I'm thinking to myself, man, running from city council, put this pen on. I said, man, that pen costs a lot of money, man. Who did you have to run this pen by in order to get this approved? So I asked him before we got on, man, did your woman approve of this? Talk to me. Let me know who had to approve of these buttons getting made.
So
put my boy on the spot.
So for me, you know what I'm saying, like my organizing effort, I wouldn't be here if I didn't have like a team of folks I work with every day, all day, every day. First, like my organizing partner that has helped me like tremendously with this campaign and really serves as like a key advisor to what we got going on. Erica Perry holds us down in all different ways. Mike Floss, you know what I'm saying? He an artist, rapper, but definitely got the eye and pulse on the culture. So he makes sure that like we're culturally relevant and we're breaking things down in an everyday fashion. All the way to my sister, you know what I'm saying? My sister is serving as my treasurer. You know, she's using her skills in the best way that she can to help support the campaign. We have volunteers that are canvassing. We have volunteers that are knocking doors. We have people that would have never imagined canvassing and knocking doors, that they would even be participating in a campaign, because our campaign is everyday folks, right?
And it's beautiful, man.
It's 100% volunteer. We don't have no paid staffers. And that's important to remember, because the folks that we're up against, my opponent, is in the pockets of large developers. They got big money. And we are able to wage a ground game that is one of the strongest I want to say that Nashville has ever seen, because we have so many dedicated volunteers that are in the field all the time, talking to folks, texting folks, getting things by. So I be having to run stuff past my team. And I'll say this too real fast. My team spans ages. They span professions. They a little bit of everybody being involved. Yeah. So it's just been a good time.
Man, so how proud of you was your family when you told them that you were doing this?
Oh man, so first of all, I grew up a knucklehead. There you go.
I could have never thought, man, would have been doing this.
So my mom was just like, hey, you could have been doing way worse things. I was that type of kid. So my mom always been that way. She always been like, well, you could be doing something that could get you in trouble. But my folks that I worked in retail for a very long time in Foot Locker.
That's what's up, man.
The retail workers be like, yo, like, we just can't believe, like, we're really proud of you. Folks I graduated from with Tennessee State for 2015, even folks I graduated from East Lit from, you know what I'm saying? They just like are amazed. Oftentimes, even now, man, when they come to like local folks that are from here, that they families here, a lot of the times, man, it feels like we be left on the burner when they come to Nashville. So folks just be like, yo, we rocking with you, bro, because we know you. Like, we don't know you.
Yeah.
So they like not only have my folks, my pops, my sisters, but it's just been like everyday folks. Like at this point, when I was in Kroger's in Monroe, somebody just like walked up to me and was like, how the campaign going?
See what I'm saying? Because they know you.
And the same thing happened when I joined the Community Oversight Board. I had the same type of energy. So it's been all love, man. And I'm just excited to have the opportunity to be able to also like take this type of energy and organize it in a way that will change District 21 for generations.
Yes, sir, man. What can people do right now to make sure or to ensure that you go out there and get the dub? Like, it's something early voting. How about that? Because we talked about it a little bit. I was disappointed. But tell the people what they can do to early vote. Get out there, man.
So you can early vote until the 29th. If you're in North Nashville, there's two places: Howard Office School Building or Bordeaux Library.
Yes, sir.
Are your two closest places. You can also vote on Election Day. But if you want to get a little bit grimier, if you got that grimy spirit, and you like, yo, I'm trying to sprint through the finish line. We need folks to make phone calls for the campaign. We also need people to help knock doors, and thirdly, we need people at the polls with signs, just letting folks know, like, hey, vote for Jamel Campbell-Gooch at District 21. That's if you the grimy type. Yeah, because we looking for the grimy type even afterwards, because we are trying to organize the district.
Right.
Oh, and let me say this: with my campaign, you don't have to be living in the district to be involved.
That was my next one.
And two, we want to make sure, because we know so many people have been displaced from District 21. We center not only people who live in District 21, but people who work in District 21, people who come through District 21,
yes,
people
sir.
who want to live in District 21,
yes, sir.
and people who have been displaced from 21. So if you listen to my voice and you're from North Nashville, you're from around Jefferson Street, you're from over there by Geneva Circle, off of Cannon, Osage, Scoville, Formosa, Hermosa, Hyman, listen to me. And you've been displaced from this area, but you want to come back, you have a home in this campaign. No matter where you are, Clarksville, Charlotte, I don't care. You can come into the city, put in an hour work. You can even do it at home.
They can?
Yeah, you can call people from your house. Like, you don't have to go nowhere. So look, I just want to invite anybody who sees North Nashville as home or special to them. You have a place on this campaign.
Man, I need to hit the golly. I didn't put my button right there. That's what you need to know.
No, for sure.
And that, man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Now, with that being said, calling people, getting people involved. In District 21, do people have rides to the polls? Because I know it's a lot of time back in Mississippi. A lot of times we were like, man, I want to go out and vote. But some of the older people didn't necessarily have rides to the polls.
If you hit me up, we probably can figure that out.
Okay.
If you go to JamelCampbellGooch.com, hit us up in the contacts. I'm pretty sure we can figure that out. If that's something that you want to volunteer to do, you know what I'm saying?
If you got a bus, Come on, pull
Let
up.
us know. Let us know.
Greyhound, school bus.
All that. Like we said, it's a family affair. So people are coming. It's like a potluck around here. People coming with their skills and like, yo, do you need somebody that can do this? So if you a bus driver, you got a church van or something you got access to, let us know. Because I'm definitely sure that we can find people that you can give a ride to for sure.
Everybody can do something for somebody who they appreciate.
Everybody.
Listen, I'm not in District 21. Indy is not here. But I saw my man campaigning, and I said, what can I do? I know what I can do. We finna do a podcast
yes, sir.
today. So everybody can do something to help out somebody. Don't think you cannot get involved. You can get involved. He's giving you multiple ways to be involved and how to get in action to help with the campaign. And I think we need to do that. I had another question for you that I forgot to ask.
Come on with it,
back
man.
around,
Come
man.
on.
You see the story in South Carolina about the lady who was getting displaced from her home?
We had one on 19th Avenue North that was similar, but tell me more about the one in South Carolina.
So the one in South Carolina was kind of, it was about a developer, and they were trying to push her out of her, I don't know exact details. They're trying to push her out of her home.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to sell. They're doing all this stuff to her.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have gotten behind her now to talk about what's happening and how they can help. Like they even got lawyers involved trying to give her, present her with lawsuits to get her off her property because they want to get their property and build something else on it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, it is. And it sounds like the history of North Nashville. Really, after the tornado happened, right before the pandemic, we had developers in District 21 going door to door asking folks if they would sell.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. We also, my mom's live in Bordeaux. She get the text messages all the time, like, would you be willing to sell your property? Would you be willing to give up your property? So we know like those folks are coming into our community to exploit us.
Yes, sir.
They also, recently the Nashville Scene had an article talking about how developers try to use metro codes to actually get people out of their property.
Really? So how did you do that?
So if you, let's say you have a, what you know that thing that looks like a pod, but it's not a pod? I don't know what to call it. It's like it go on the back of a truck. I don't know what that thing is. No, I can't even call it.
Like a little square box?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's say you have one of them like storage units in your backyard.
Yes, sir. I know what you're talking about. I got you now. Okay.
Let's say you have one of them in your backyard. And technically, that's against code. You ain't supposed to have that.
Okay. I didn't know.
Let's say a developer sees that and you don't want to sell to them, they might report it to codes, Metro codes. Metro codes might run those fines on you, and then that might end up in a situation where you're forced to sell and the developer can lower the price on you.
Oh, no.
Those type of things happen every day in Nashville, especially as people are coming to exploit us.
It's the same thing happened to this lady.
Exactly.
The same. I'm reading it now. 93-year-old South Carolina woman is getting harassed by developers because they want to buy her property and she's not willing to sell. 93 years old. So it's
that type of thing is indicative of how Nashville is in a cycle of harming its own citizens. If you just look at the history of North Nashville, right? We have the Nashville student movements in the 60s that actually defeat Jim Crow. One of the first major wins against Jim Crow. However you feel about the civil rights movement, they was able to get something done right then. So we have them doing that in the 60s. We also have them participating in freedom rides throughout the South. Right. Which ended up desegregating public accommodations across the entire South. So in the 60s, we have a major organizing hub happening in District 21, right off of Jefferson Street, Meharry Fisk, Tennessee State University,
right
American
where
Baptist
you
College.
are.
Right there. If you go down the timeline a little bit, but in 1972, City Council decides to run an interstate directly through the community.
And nah, this ain't it.
And the interstate displaces, it actually causes 80% of black businesses that are in the area to close. Damn. Right? And causes land value to go down 60%. Yeah. You fast forward to the next decade, to the 80s, don't forget about the report. We know that if you were born in the 80s in 37208, you are most likely to go to jail. Highest incarcerated zip code in the country.
In the country?
In the country. And so we know that these ills are a response to North Nashville building power. Right. So we know to fix these ills, North Nashville has to build power in a way that centers the people and provides an organizing opportunity for everyone to be involved like we talked about before, because North Nashville has done it before.
And that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. Now, speaking of this, because the thing about you, man, you're so vocal and you are on the ground has there been any threats or has there been any pushback? Like, hey man, we cannot have this guy out here spewing this type of information. Keep it closed in.
For sure. I mean, the people that we're up against have long bread, and they're getting long bread from developers, realtors, people that are coming to just like buy land. So like, got you. In response to our campaign, that's what's happening on the other side. Also, I mean, we've had early on in the campaign, we had a local developer calling around looking for dirt on us.
No way.
We also had a local developer actually activate somebody that we would have considered a friend to actually almost run against us. Somebody else, they ended up pulling out. But this local developer had put such a battery in their back.
Like, you should go out and run.
That they violated our friendship. This was a close friend. You know what I'm saying? And throw money at him and all kind of stuff. Threw money at him in a way that was damn near illegal.
Did y'all get back on track now, you and Hope?
No, we ain't. I don't know about that one. We have to figure that out on the other side of the election.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
And then thirdly, I mean, to the point where I've received text messages that were like very much so threatening in a way that was like, you know, if you don't stop, we gonna do something type of deal. And so I think it's just indicative of like how much power we have when we get together.
Right.
And when we center everyday people. And that just shows like how much of a threat
there you go
that this campaign is to the status quo.
That's what I like about it, man. I want you guys to break through, and I want us to help what we can, man. Whatever we can do, we down.
I mean, this was a great thing. Like platforms like this, even breaking down what city council does.
Right. I'm telling you, I had no clue. I thought, and I looked this up. I thought it was like a salary thing, and you get all these benefits. No, it's not.
It's not at all.
People think that though. People think that, oh man, you finna run and you running just to get the bread.
Nah, it's a part-time position.
Yeah, but people don't know that.
And it's gonna be full-time hours.
It's full-time hours, and it's a part-time position. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I think Nashville is in such a special place right now. You know what I'm saying? I think we're in a place that if we can get to the point where we can get everyday investment, we can get more people involved in the political process, we can get more folks in organization. I think Nashville could be a place where people are really taken care of. And I think it can lead not only Tennessee, but also the South and what it looks like to have a area where people are centered and people come first. I think Nashville has that opportunity, and we have so much growth that it's time for us to do it now.
Yes, sir.
And if we don't do it now, we just run the risk of not taking advantage of the moment.
Man, listen, I think it's a great way to end, matter of fact. So before we end, though, I want you to tell the people two things.
For sure.
Tell them again when election day is.
Yeah.
And then tell them how they can get involved with you, my brother.
Okay, for sure. So first of all, my name is Jamel Campbell-Gooch. I'm running for the historic District 21 council seat. The early voting is on the 29th. Election day is on August 3rd. If you're trying to be involved in the campaign or you want to learn a little bit more, you can go to JamelCampbellGooch.com. Go to the contact section, follow contact. If you would like to volunteer, we are a people-centered campaign. We are 100% volunteers. We don't have nobody on paid staff. So if you want to come and be a part of history, you want to come and be a part of this movement, join us online, volunteer your time. An hour dedicated to this campaign is an hour dedicated to transform the power back to the people of District 21.
Sure, man. Listen, if this doesn't motivate you to get out there and do something,
come on.
I don't know what will. You just don't got it in you, and you already know where you can find me. BLove1911. All of my boys' information will be somewhere around this episode. Click on it, volunteer, give some time out, and I appreciate y'all for listening, dog. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man. It's been a beautiful time, man. Hey, we're going to do the takeover again. He and our podcast coming soon.
Listen, it's coming, and we're going to be on a podcast too. The wife and I, she and I, India will be back soon. But in the meantime, in between time, it's been real. It's been fun. I out.